The movie starts, and we see a deserted market where we see a family who is collecting necessary items completely silently. These people were so scared that they were not even able to talk to each other. They were just explaining things to each other through gestures. After all, there was something that was forcing them to remain completely silent. The leader of this family is Lee, and his wife's name is Evelyn. Here we see their elder daughter Regan, who could not hear since childhood, and their two sons, Marcus and Bo. Bo is young in age. That is why he does not understand many things. He sees a toy rocket in the upper cupboard. As soon as he is about to pick up the rocket slips from his hand and falls down. Seeing this, everyone's breath gets stuck in their throat. But at the last moment, Regan quickly catches that toy rocket and saves everyone's life. Lee explains to everyone through gestures that evening is about to happen. We have to return home as soon as possible. Otherwise, we might get into danger. Just then, their 4-year-old son picks up that same toy rocket again. Seeing him, everyone got terrified because this rocket was battery-operated, which could make noise as soon as it was turned on. Lee takes that rocket from his son's hand, removes its battery, and keeps it on the table. After this, they all started leaving for home. But the boy was insisting on taking that rocket with him again and again. That is why Regan silently hands over this rocket without batteries to his hand, and she also came out of the store. But just then, that child picked up the rocket's batteries too. After this, these four set out towards home in a line. Then we see that this city, which used to shine with lights, was once full of the noise of cars and crowds of humans. But today, this city is completely deserted and drowned in silence. Here, let alone humans, even the sound of birds is not heard. A fearful silence is spread everywhere. Only a few people are left alive in the whole world now, including these 5 people. Here we see that they have spread sand in a line all the way to their house, and these people were walking barefoot on it, so that there is not even the sound of footsteps. Meanwhile, innocent Bo was behind Regan. He was very happy taking the rocket. Just then, Bo put the battery in the rocket and turned it on, due to which music started playing in that rocket. Regan could not hear. That is why her attention did not go to the sound. But when Lee and Evelyn heard it, they both got very scared. Suddenly, emerging from the dense forests, a dreadful monster running at the speed of a bullet started moving towards Bo. Lee runs fast towards Bo to turn off the toy quickly. But by then, it was too late. That monster took Bo away with him. After that, we are shown a scene from a year later. Lee and his family had learned to live in this situation. Lee had made a research room in his house, where he had obtained complete information about that monster. Here we get to know that that dreadful monster can detect even a very faint sound from several kilometers away. The good thing was that those monsters were completely blind. But their power of hearing was so sharp that they could feel even a slight vibration in the air and the faintest of sounds. If a human even breathes loudly, then sensing that too, these monsters used to run towards him at the speed of lightning and finish that human in a few seconds. Along with this, the skin of these monsters was stronger than iron, which protected them from gunshots and any weapon. Actually, 1 year ago from today, these monsters came to this earth through a meteorite that came from space. These monsters were so fast that in a short time, they spread all over the earth and wiped out almost all signs of humans from this world. There was only one way to escape from these monsters, and that was to remain completely silent, a secret which Lee and his family had learned. That is why they had completely secured themselves. Lee had installed CCTV cameras all around his house so that they could get news of the monster's arrival. Also, he had put special marks on the stairs and the places to step on the path so that those creatures could not even hear the sound of their feet. And Lee had also built an underground bunker in his house where he used to research these monsters. He had also found out that a total of 3 monsters are present in this area. Now Lee was trying to know about the weakness of those monsters. Along with this, Lee was sending a signal for help to the whole world through the radio. But till now, he could not make contact with anyone. Here we get to know that Evelyn is pregnant, and soon she is going to give birth to a child. Now because this child will start crying upon being born, They have made a soundproof box for their coming child, so that whenever the child cries, they can put an oxygen mask on his mouth and hide him in that box, due to which the monster will not hear the sound of the child crying. In this difficult situation, it was very important to be ready to escape from the monster. But Lee's elder daughter Regan could not hear, and this lack could become a big trouble for her. That is why Lee was trying to remove this lack of hers. Lee makes a cochlear hearing amplifier for his daughter Regan, and Lee gives that amplifier to Regan. But Regan was not happy taking this amplifier because she felt that, like always, this amplifier would also not work, because Lee had made many amplifiers for his daughter Regan before this too. That is why Regan drops this amplifier at first, but when she tests that amplifier, this amplifier is working. As soon as she hears the voice of the outside world, she starts crying out of happiness, and along with it, Regan also remembers her younger brother. Regan still holds herself responsible for her brother's death. She feels that if she had not given the toy rocket to her brother that day, then today her brother would be alive. Regan wanted to prove herself by helping in her father's work. That is why Regan starts going towards her father's underground bunker. But just then, her father stops her and forbids her from going inside. Because due to the mistake of Regan giving the toy rocket to her younger brother a year ago, now he does not trust Regan at all. He is afraid that there are microphones, radios, and many other things in the underground bunker below. If by mistake Regan's hand touches any such thing that creates sound, then our lives can be in danger. The next day, Lee is going to the river to catch fish with his son Marcus. Regan also wanted to go with them. Regan requests Lee that please take me with you too, but Lee refused to take her with him. He tells Regan that your mother is alone at home, so you stay at home and take care of your mother. After which Lee left towards the river with Marcus. Regan feels very bad about this and she gets angry. She feels that her father does not love her. That is why she packs her bag, and she also left somewhere from the house and came straight to the place where the monster had killed her brother. She lies down near her brother's grave and starts crying, and within a short while, Regan falls asleep right there. On the other hand, Evelyn was completely alone at home. After some time, she washed clothes from the basement and was taking them out, filling them in a sack. Just then, a nail on the stairs got stuck in that sack and stood straight up. That sharp nail was exactly on the mark where she placed her foot, but Evelyn could not see it. On the other side, Lee and Marcus were busy catching fish. After some time, Lee brings his son Marcus near a waterfall, and Lee tells his son that here you can talk because due to the waterfall, your voice will hide in it, and your voice will not reach that monster. Now you can talk openly. They both sit near the waterfall and start talking. Marcus asks if he considers Regan responsible for Bo's death, to which Lee replies that whatever happened to Bo, it was nobody's fault. But Marcus tells Lee that Regan still holds herself responsible for Bo's death today. That is why you should tell Regan that it was not your fault that day. During this, Evelyn was shedding tears in his memory, holding the picture of her dead son. Just then suddenly her labor pain started, meaning that her delivery time had come. She started going quickly towards the basement, holding the photo frame in her hand. But just then, in the hurry to go down the stairs, her foot pierced onto that sharp nail. Evelyn writhed in pain, but she did not let out a sound from her mouth. But the photo frame of her son slipped from her hand and falls down with a loud noise and breaks. Evelyn somehow pulled her foot and took it out from that nail. During this, she felt so much pain that her face became completely red. But keeping control over herself, she does not even let out a sigh from her mouth because she knew that making a sound means inviting her own death. She comes down limping and switches on the light, due to which the red light lit up outside. Now she started returning back towards the top, but just then she saw something that made her breath get stuck in her throat. Actually, that monster had reached her house. Actually, when that photo frame had fallen from Evelyn's hand, the monster had heard that sound. Trembling with fear, Evelyn hid behind the wall. On the other side, Lee and Marcus were returning home after catching fish. Just then, from a distance, they saw that red lights are burning all around the house. Lee understood that Evelyn is in danger. He immediately ran towards the house. There, Evelyn, hiding in the basement, was trembling with fear, and that monster was searching for her in every corner of the house. Just then, Evelyn found a timer in the basement. Here Evelyn, acting wisely, sets a time of a few seconds in that timer and keeps it in a corner and quickly comes to another corner and hides. In this time, that monster senses movement there, and he slowly started moving towards that place of movement. He was quite close to Evelyn. On one hand, Evelyn was having labor pain, and on the other, there was the fear of that monster. But Evelyn controls herself completely and sits down absolutely quietly. Just then, the alarm rang in the timer, hearing which that monster ran fast in that direction. Taking advantage of the opportunity, Evelyn quickly came out of the underground basement. But as soon as she was about to go out from the main door, she saw that another monster is roaming here and there outside the house. That is why Evelyn hid right there along with the wall. On the other side, Lee was watching all this from a distance with Marcus. Lee understood that if I go home to save my wife, then instead of saving my wife, both of our lives can be lost because that monster's body is so hard that killing it with a gun is impossible. That is why he started working on a plan he had made earlier. Lee quickly gave a torch to Marcus and asked him to set off the flare rockets quickly, which they had already set there at a place far from the house. After which Marcus ran fast towards the rocket. On the other side, Evelyn ran to the bathtub present on the upper floor. She was in too much pain. Now she could not stop the child for much longer. She was just about to give birth to the child when that monster, sensing the sound of her sobs, had come close to the bathroom. Evelyn had understood that now surviving alive is impossible. Just then over there, Marcus set off the rockets, due to which flares started in the sky with a loud noise. Hearing which, that monster left Evelyn right here and ran fast towards that sound. And at that very moment, Evelyn, who was suppressing the pain, screamed loudly. Her voice gets drowned in the noise of the rockets. Regan also sees the noise and lights of these rockets from a distance, and she sets out towards the house. After a while, Lee came inside the house with a gun. He saw that there are bloodstains of feet on the stairs. He reaches the bathroom following those marks. Reaching there, he sees that the bathtub is red with blood. He understood that Evelyn has also become a victim of that monster. He sat right there shedding tears. But just then, someone placed a hand on the glass of the shower room. It was none other than Evelyn herself. Even in this difficult situation, Evelyn had handled herself and given birth to a son. Finding Evelyn alive, Lee's eyes remained wide open. Now before the sound of the child crying could come, Lee immediately picked up Evelyn and the child and brought them to the underground room, in whose basement they had made a soundproof box for the child. But before entering the basement, the child started crying. Hearing which, that monster started coming towards them fast. Lee quickly entered the underground room and covered the door with a thick mattress. Lee immediately put an oxygen mask on the child's mouth and closed him in the box, due to which the sound of his crying stopped. Only then did those two take a sigh of relief. Here Lee tells his wife Evelyn that I have known the weakness of these creatures. Now soon I am going to prepare a weapon for them, so that these creatures will not be able to harm us. During this, on the other side, Regan was also returning home. Just then she saw a light burning in the middle of the fields. Regan quickly started coming near that light, but she was unaware of the fact that a monster was walking behind her from the sound of her footsteps. As soon as that monster came quite close to kill Regan, suddenly a sharp and loud frequency started coming out from Regan's ear machine. Due to this sharp sound, that monster starts writhing, as if this sound is piercing inside the monster's ear like a needle. This monster cannot tolerate this sound for long and quickly ran away from there. At the same time, this sound is piercing Regan's ears too, but as soon as that monster ran from there, the pain in Regan's ear stopped. But Regan did not understand why her ear machine did that after all. Not paying much attention to this, she reaches near the light. Just then she found that that light was from a torch. As soon as Regan went to pick up that torch, suddenly someone caught her hand. It was none other than Marcus, who was hidden here trembling with fear. Seeing his sister, Marcus's nervousness went away. He tells Regan that I was watching you hiding from the bushes. That monster was also coming behind you. But I don't know, that monster suddenly ran away as soon as it came close to you. Hearing this, Regan gets very scared because she did not even know that a monster is coming behind her. Meanwhile, on the other side, Evelyn was getting worried about her children. She says to Lee, "I am scared that the monster might have eaten my children. You quickly find and bring my children." That is why Lee makes his wife and child sleep in the underground room and comes out from there. First, he starts looking for danger here and there. But now that monster had also gone from there. But he had destroyed the whole house. Due to which, a water pipe present there also broke, and water was going straight down into the underground room. But Lee's attention did not go to this, and he set out towards the fields to find the children. During this, over there Marcus and Regan were hiding on top of the grain storage tank, and they light a fire so that seeing this fire their father comes here. Lee also starts looking for his children here and there. After some time, Evelyn wakes up from the noise of water. She saw that the whole basement had filled with water. Water was flowing down from above like a waterfall. In this time, Evelyn's eyes fell on her child's box. That box was open. But not even a slight sound of the child was coming from there. As soon as Evelyn started going near the box, just then she saw a monster right in front near the box. Seeing him, Evelyn got very scared. Evelyn felt that perhaps the monster has eaten her child because Evelyn could see that box. But that box was quite far from her. Therefore, she could not see inside the box whether the child is still alive or the monster ate him. That is why she started moving slowly towards the box. Just then that monster also gets down into the water. But when Evelyn reached near the box, she saw that her child is safe and sound. Luckily, the child had not made a noise, due to which his life was saved. She took her child and came to a corner and stood silently. But that monster was hovering near Evelyn like death. If even a slight sound of crying came out of the child's mouth, then their death was certain. On the other side, Regan and Marcus had gotten tired of waiting for their father. Regan feels that their father will not come to save them. Now she wanted to go home alone, but Marcus had full faith in his father. Seeing his sister going, Marcus tries to stop her. But as soon as he moves forward to stop his sister, the door of the grain tank opens and he falls inside it. While falling, a loud sound comes out of Marcus's mouth. Hearing which, that monster who was searching for Evelyn in the house immediately ran after that sound, due to which Evelyn was saved. But now Marcus's life was in danger. That tank filled with grain was like quicksand, inside which the more force Marcus applied to come out, the more he was sinking inside it. Here Regan breaks the door of the tank and throws it down into the grain, and herself jumps into the tank too. Just as Marcus was about to drown in the grain, Regan catches him and pulls him out, and both of them sit on top of the door, due to which their lives are saved. But the monster had heard the movement of these two. That is why that monster moves towards the tank quickly via the path of the field. Seeing the monster going quickly towards the tank, Lee understands that both his children are near the grain tank. Regan had saved Marcus's life, but it was not going to be of any use because after so much noise, the shadow of death was moving towards them fast. The very next moment, that monster also jumped inside the tank. As soon as he moved forward to kill both of them, just then, a sharp sound started coming out from Regan's ear machine once again. This sound is very painful for that monster. That is why he leaves from there without killing them. Regan and Marcus narrowly escaped from the mouth of death and came out of the tank. Outside, Lee had also arrived searching for them. He is very happy to see his children safe and sound. During this, Evelyn was also watching all this from the CCTV room. Just then Lee gets to know that that monster is still nearby here. He immediately sent the children towards the car present in front, and himself picked up an axe and started looking around. But that creature is right above him. As soon as Lee turns and looks back, that monster hits him with his claw and throws him far away. Seeing his father in pain, Marcus starts calling out to Lee. Hearing the voice, the monster also gets to know Marcus's position. That monster now started moving towards Marcus and Regan. But just then, once again frequencies started coming out from Regan's ear machine. That sound was piercing Regan too. That is why Regan turned off her ear machine itself. But this was her biggest mistake. The frequency that used to come out of this machine was the same frequency that was that monster's weakness, which he could not tolerate at all. But unknowingly, Regan invited her own death by turning off the machine. The very next moment, that monster pounced on the car and started trying to reach Marcus. During this, over there Lee regained consciousness. Seeing his children in danger, he had understood that by fighting the monster, he can never kill the monster. That is why now he saw only one way. He told Regan through gestures that I love you very much. I have never held you responsible for Bo's death, and while I am here, nothing can happen to you. After which Lee started screaming loudly. Hearing him, that monster ran towards Lee and tore him apart in a single blow. Seeing her father dying, Regan feels very sad because earlier she used to think that her father does not love her, but now she realized that she was wrong. After killing Lee, that monster goes away from there. On the other side, Evelyn is also watching all this through CCTV. Then Regan immediately starts the car and reaches home with her brother. Evelyn hugged her children as soon as she saw them safe and sound. Just then Evelyn saw that that monster is coming towards them once again, after which these people quickly go inside the house, where Marcus and Regan see their younger brother. Regan sees how hard her father was working for her cochlear implant. Now she starts missing her father very much. After some time, that monster entered their house. Evelyn stood in front of him pointing a gun. Evelyn had a gun, but she knew that her bullet could not do anything to that monster's thick skin. That is why now they were seeing their death in front of their eyes. But as soon as this monster moved forward to kill those people, suddenly pain started happening in Regan's ear. But on the other side, she saw that that monster also suddenly started writhing, meaning as soon as pain started in Regan's ears, then on the other side, that monster also started feeling many times more pain than that. Regan understands that the machine installed in her ear, which her father had made, has some connection with this monster. Just then Regan's attention went to her father's research, from which Regan got to know that the high-pitch frequency coming out of her ear machine is that monster's weakness. Regan had understood that whenever this monster comes near me, pain starts happening in my ear, and this monster runs away from there. Before this monster could kill them, Regan quickly increases the power of the cochlear implant installed in her ear even more. Due to the high-frequency sound coming out from it, that monster suddenly started writhing. It was looking as if that high-frequency sound is pricking needles in the entire body of that monster. Here Regan's mother also understands that this is all the wonder of the cochlear implant. But by increasing the power, even more pain started happening in Regan's ears too. That is why Regan, acting wisely, puts that ear machine with a microphone kept there, due to which that frequency sound wave became even louder. Now that monster was in a bad state from pain, and the armor of his skull started opening by itself. As soon as the armor opened, just as his face became visible, Evelyn fired straight on his face with the shotgun, due to which his skull burst exactly like a balloon, and finally, that monster was killed, although the danger was not averted yet. Hearing the sound of the gunshot, the remaining two other monsters present in that area also started coming towards them. But now Evelyn and Regan had come to know the weakness of those monsters. That is why Regan turned the microphone volume to full, and Evelyn got ready to kill those monsters. With this story ends. If you liked the video, then definitely subscribe to our channel and like the video. And if you want the second part of this movie, then write part 2 in the comments below.